There's been several studies out there that kind of quote high failure rates for AI initiatives, and I fundamentally disagree with those. It's not a high failure rate, it's a high learning rate. Whoever figures out AI in their industry will win their industry. We need to continue to try it. We need to continue to let those thousand flowers bloom to unlock that value that is there.
Welcome to Sierra Ventures CXO Insights on AI, where we will hear from top technology executives at leading global enterprises. My name is Mark Fernandez. I'm a managing partner here. Our guest today is Earl Newsome, Chief Information Officer at Cummins, a global leader in the power technology space with over $30 billion in revenues. Welcome, Earl. Could you give us some color on Cummins and your organization there?
Sure. Yeah, so Cummins is an over $30 billion manufacturer of engines primarily. We really operate in five different segments, right? We provide, we have an engine business, which provides engines to our customers. We have a components business, which surrounds those engines with the necessary components to upfit it for specific use cases. We have an accelerator business, which is focused on next generation power solutions. We have a distribution business, which does sales and services. And then we have a power systems business, which provides gensets, which is actually powering the AI economy.
So given that, Earl, where are you in your AI journey? Could you give us some specific examples of how AI is helping you and maybe some places where it hasn't yet delivered?
Sure. From an AI perspective, we are doing a couple of things when I think about AI. The first thing we did is we established a working group which kind of set the guardrails for AI, and which I call responsible or aligned AI, where responsible AI is AI that's aligned with your mission, vision, and values. We've created a nice set of guardrails for which people to operate within. We've focused on letting our business units and functions experiment and explore at scale. And that's basically letting those thousand flowers bloom and really encouraging the ability to learn through our experiments. And then what we've done is let our working group go out into those business units and start to harvest those flowers. I like to call them my florists. And those florists have gone out and created a nice bouquet of some solutions for us to actually extract more value from a company perspective. And we have four kind of focus areas that we're looking at where we're going to extract outsized value leveraging AI. We're looking at our supply chain and how we can unlock value there. We're looking at shared services. We were looking at co-engineering and product development, and we're looking at sales enablement and customer engagement.
Earl, do you think that we're setting some right expectations for AI's impact in large enterprises, both in the near term and the midterm? Because there's a lot of hype about it. So do we think the expectations are right here?
There's been several studies out there that kind of quote high failure rates for AI initiatives, and I fundamentally disagree with those. And so I think we are in the early stages of AI. If we think about that stage, if we have 1 in 10 experiments actually generating significant value, that's actually considered pretty good. So I kind of turned some of those studies on their head about this high failure rate to know it's not a high failure rate, it's a high learning rate. Right. And so if we set the expectations right, that we're learning through our experimentation and exploration about how to apply AI to deliver outsized value, that's the right way to position it for your enterprise. And so I think about this model: learn once, learn forward, learn cheaply, and learn fast. Right. And if you apply that to your experimentation, you will have the right framework. And then as you get those 1 in 10s that's going to deliver that outstanding value, you learn from the 9 that didn't, you start to get faster at it. And then you're going to create this flywheel effect. One belief I have is whoever figures out AI in their industry will win their industry. So this is not a let's try it and then forget it if it doesn't work. We need to continue to try it. We need to continue to let those thousand flowers bloom to unlock that value that is there. And it's really, I want to move from value to impact and to lock the impact that AI is going to have on your business so that you can, in fact, win your industry. So I think if we reframe it to we're learning through our experimentations and we move from value to impact, we will have the right mindset in terms of trying to win this AI journey.
That's a very refreshing mindset, Earl. It's hard in big enterprises. So what's been harder than expected? Technology, the data, or organizational change to make it useful?
To me, I think the hardest thing is this pace of change that we're in. I reflect on the mainframe days, and I'm dating myself, right? So in the COBOL days, we made 20-year decisions. Right. In the client server days, we made 10-year decisions. In the internet and cloud days, we made 3 to 5 year decisions. In this AI world, we need to make 90-day decisions. And so in a world where you got to make 90-day decisions, it means we have to change the way that we procure, the way that we contract, the way that we architect, and the way that we implement these solutions in a way such that they are, in fact, modular and composable, and we can make 90-day decisions without any detrimental impact. And that's the hardest part of this whole thing. Every day or every other day, there's an announcement, there's new models coming out, there's agents that are being built. Like the famous saying, this is the slowest it'll ever be. And so that's what's hard about it.
Earl, how do you infuse this thinking into your organization? I mean, this is a very, like I said, a very refreshing point of view, but how do you kind of infuse this thinking within your organization?
I think this is a great question. It's often said the best way to predict the future is to create it. This is what I tell my team. AI is not coming for your job, but the person using AI is, right? And the best way to become that person using AI is to disrupt yourself and then making yourself indispensable in that future where you're becoming exponential.
So how do you think about build versus buy versus partner in AI? And, given that I'm in the venture business, what advice would you give to startups?
So my advice would be is as you're looking to provide AI solutions, is how do you provide those solutions that are fast, that are rentable, that are plug and play, that can deliver impact, and then can be rapidly improved and elevated and versioned, let's put it that way, versus substituted and versioned over time, right? And so you're going to say, I've got this great agent. This is version 1 of it. Let's go put it out there. Let's experiment and explore with it. Let's watch what it does. And then version 2 will be right behind it. And version 3 will be right behind it. So you've got to build a model that allows for this rapid versioning, and because things are changing so fast that you're going to need to build that capability within your solutions such that it can be versioned rapidly. And not only that, it needs to also work with others. And so we know that the future is going to be multi-agent, multi-model. And if the future is multi-agent, multi-model, you need to build solutions that enable you to live in a multi-agent, multi-model world. And so it needs to be disciplined, it needs to be observable, but it needs to be connectable and composable in a way that it can connect with other models and other agents to provide that end-to-end ecosystem, which is going to unlock that next tranche of value. So that to me is the way to think about it, is how do you create these things that are rentable, versionable, connectable in a modularized compositized, if make that word up, environment so that you can plug and play and get value in 90 days.
Earl, what you mentioned, the ones who adopt AI become the leaders. What internal capability do you believe becomes the durable competitive advantage in this universe?
I go back to the statement of whoever figures out AI in their industry wins their industry. And so I think that competitive moat that will exist will be one that will be defined by data, by architecture, by composability, by extracting more value by versioning. And that versioning capability will allow you to differentiate your product from any other product. And so I think, in this world of 90-day decisions and 90-day expectations of value and 90-day versions, that your ability to provide solutions that deliver that will be one of those differentiators. And that'll rest on a bedrock of high quality data, of a great architecture, and of solutions that are composable and modular that can move at the speed of their customers.
Yeah. So if you were starting from scratch today, knowing what you do today, what would you do differently?
What I think about differently is this value of this interconnection between software and hardware. And you're recognizing that your differential value is not only in the hardware that you produce, but it's in the software that you produce. Software eats the world, right? And as software becomes this thing where value can be distributed and delivered in a over the air and quickly, beginning with that in mind, beginning with the end in mind, you would have built a platform which allowed for software level differentiation much easier than it is today. And so that to me is what, knowing what you know now. But then I think we're in that state. We're Well, we are actually building smarter and more intelligent, systems all the time. And those smarter, more intelligent systems need software to differentiate their level of intelligence. And that's only available, most recently. So yeah, if you started today, you'd build it with intelligence in mind.
Well, since you're one of the leaders in the manufacturing world and power world, where are we in the physical AI journey? Everybody talks about, software models around this, but where are we in the physical AI world? What's your read on it? Where are you in your thinking organizationally around physical AI?
We're in industrial manufacturers. I would look for a world where humans and robots are working in collaboration with each other to deliver great and amazing outcomes. Merge into the world where humans and robots coexist and co-create and collaborate in ways that we have not seen before.
Earl, thank you very much for your very insightful comments. They're going to be very valuable to both your peers as well as a lot of startup companies who are part of the audience here. Much appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Take care.